Welcome to our YouTube channel, Climate Change Action Plan Carbon Neutrality. I'm Mike Fiorino from Net Zero Analysis, and today I'll review our updated carbon footprint calculator and the intake form we've developed to track energy and fuel consumption. The calculator can be found on our website, and we're pleased to announce that it's also been developed into an app for Android and iOS users. Free downloads can be found at Google Play and the App Store. I'll be working from our website version for ease of recording this video, but you shouldn't find any significant differences between the web and app versions. I hope you'll find this information informative and useful. Please like our video and join Climate Action Plan Carbon Neutrality as we work with several other organizations towards a carbon neutral economy. As always, we welcome your comments as we test and improve these tools for all of us to use. The first thing we're going to do is take a look at our intake form. You'll find it on our website by going to Our Services, scrolling down to Level 1 Services, and there you'll find the carbon footprint intake form download. The intake form is divided into several tabs which correspond to the calculator on the website and also the calculators we use for ISO audits. For the website calculator, we'll be using the profile, building energy, airplane travel, bus, train and subway rail, hotel, vehicles, and equipment tabs. The profile section is fairly straightforward. We're asking for contact information, which I've already put in, and the building location for data. Now, the most pertinent information for us is the reporting year, and in our example, that's going to be 2019. The country for the building we'll be using is in Japan, and its area is 396 square meters. For our building energy, a total of 1,188 cubic meters of water was used in 2019. All electricity was grid sourced, and the total was 17,280 kilowatt hours. And they also used 270 cubic meters of propane. We've also included a section for other building-related fuel types and energy, if there's anything in addition to the ones listed above. We recorded several airplane travel trips. There were 3 from Tokyo to Nevada, and there were a couple from Tokyo to Shanghai. Additional trips would be recorded in these areas. Local and long-distance bus travel would be recorded in this area. We did not have any. Local, subway, and long-distance train travel is recorded in this section. And for our business, they recorded 14,000 kilometers of local commuter train travel for 2019. There were 17 hotel room stays recorded, and those were generated from the Nevada and Shanghai trips. And additional areas are available for recording more hotel room stays. For vehicles, we had 1 gasoline-powered vehicle that was recorded. The unit of measure was kilometers per liter, and our fuel economy was 8 kilometers per liter. It traveled a total distance of 47,332 kilometers. And if we had any on-road electric vehicles that were charged at separately metered charging stations, the kilowatt hour load would be recorded in this area. Similar for off-road equipment such as forklifts, we had a few forklifts. They were all gasoline powered. The gasoline was measured in liters, and the combined usage was 2,376 liters. And we also have a section to record charging stations that are metered separately, in which case you can record the kilowatt hour load used per month per charging station. And that pretty much concludes the tabs that we'll be using for that calculator on the website or the app version. There are some additional tabs on the data tracking form. But those are mostly used for our ISO audits. However, you can use them if you'd like. There's one for remote workers. In this case, we would be recording the city, the number of employees, and the number of locations in that city that work remotely, whether it's from home or a remote office. And then that data can be used to determine the carbon footprint based on average usage for employee per square foot or square meter. Also for shipping, whether you're shipping FedEx or any office products or general product, the expense, which would be the total cost, and the currency. And we would use this data to determine a carbon footprint for the shipping. There's also a section you can record on-site feedstock generation. So if you're using food waste or human waste to generate methane, for instance, you can record that information in this location. And if you're using that methane to generate power on site, you can record that information in this section. You can also record solar or wind generation usage. There's also a section for industrial gases, and we can determine the carbon footprint from the use of those. And similar for solvents and oils. The carbon footprint calculator can be found on our website by selecting Carbon Neutrality and the Carbon Footprint Calculator tab. The web and app versions both offer input options depending on whether you have actual energy use data or want to use a simplified version based on energy consumption averages. For this video, we'll be using actual data as a case study from one of our clients in Japan. Our reporting year is 2019, which represents the year data was collected. I've added some general contact information and selected Japan as the data source location. If I had selected United States as the source country, a state selection would also be required. For building energy usage and in general, we'll be entering our data in the green cells and using the blue drop-down menus for selections. In this building example, the water usage was 1,188 cubic meters. There was no natural gas usage. And our electricity usage was 17,280 kilowatt hours for 2019. There was no solar or wind or renewable energy usage. Gas, heating oil, and diesel was also not part of this building operation. However, 270 cubic meters of propane was used. And we entered 396 square meters for our building area to get some general idea of our electricity usage, which in this case is 43.64 kilowatt hours per square meter. As you're inputting data, you can always scroll down to the results section to see how that information is affecting your carbon footprint. At this point, we've inputted our building energy usage, and based on that, we currently have 433 metric tons of CO2 emissions for 2019. And 423 of that is from our propane and water usage, and 10 is from our electricity. Now the electricity, and actually a lot of the data, including the water, is based on the carbon intensity of the grid, which is why it's important to correctly select a country and state if you're in the U.S. Our clients booked 17 hotel room nights during the year, and they used one vehicle with gas. Their fuel economy was 8 kilometers per liter, and the total distance driven was 47,332 kilometers. If they had an additional vehicle or we wanted to add one, we would simply select the fuel type, give it a fuel economy, and a scale for that economy in this case was kilometers per liter, and the total distance. If we had other vehicles that were measured by the quantity of fuel consumed, we can put them in this space here. In this case, we would select gasoline. I believe that they had a total consumption of 2,376 liters of fuel, and that was mostly for off-road vehicles and short-haul vehicles that were used on site. At this point, our data input is complete, and we can scroll down to the results. We can see that our total carbon footprint for 2019 is 468 metric tons of CO2. 10 metric tons was from electricity usage, and 458 was from non-electrical uses. We want to select our commitment to offsetting. If we were a large industrial user, this could be a fairly large number, and maybe we'll select 25% for our first year as we begin our journey to carbon neutrality. That'll give us the offset commitment, the pounds of carbon that we're offsetting, and our remaining emissions. In our example, the client decided to go at 100% and selected to purchase roughly 468 carbon offsets from the Entrex carbon market. Now, as you're using this tool, if you want to reset it and analyze another building, you can just hit reset. You can print the existing results to a PDF file or to a printer, and you can also submit them to us for review and analysis and discussion at some point. If you want to move forward into purchasing carbon offsets, you can select the Offset Your Carbon Footprint tab, and that'll take you to the Entrex carbon market, where you can select the type of offset you wish to purchase. If you choose to offset your carbon footprint, you'll be taken to the Purchase Securitized Offsets page. Here we've made it easy to purchase securitized offsets within a Securities and Exchange Commission FINRA-regulated trading platform, the Entrex carbon market. You can learn more about Entrex by selecting to enter their website and reviewing their videos and information. The offsets presented for purchase on our site are third-party verified and validated through a UN-sanctioned carbon registry. Each offset has a serial number issued by the carbon registry and tracking number issued through blockchain to ensure against double counting. Each offset presented is available only from our website and retired upon purchase from the issuing registry. The purchase process is straightforward. Select offsets from the available project types. Select Buy Offsets, and provide purchase information. After completion, you'll receive verification of the offsets purchased, project type, project name, and serial numbers from the registry for the retired offsets. Thanks for viewing. Please join our YouTube channel, Climate Change Action Plan, Carbon Neutrality, where you'll find other informative videos on carbon neutrality, ISO standards, and carbon footprinting. Also look us up at the Climate Leadership Forum. Net Zero Analysis, Carbon Neutral Now, Net Zero Emissions 2030.